Hello guys, it is Monday, April 24th, and the start of a new weekly reading vlog. So I just finished Kiss of Smoke by Amy Pinza, and if you want to know my thoughts on it, check last week's reading vlog. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't terrible. My dog's about to knock over my tripod. But I am excited to move on to the next books that I have been planning to read. So I started Red Rising last week, didn't get very far into it, so that's my priority this week. I'm on chapter 3, so barely made any progress into it. Then for my audiobook, I got My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing, and I think it's about a couple who are serial killers and live in like a suburban neighborhood, and I don't know what else happens, but that was enough to intrigue me. So that will be my audiobook for the week. And then I was going to read the next book in the Kiss of Smoke series, or the Laird Kings, Dragon Laird's series, but it has nothing to do with the characters from the first book, so I don't think that I'm going to read it, because I also don't know if I could think sexy thoughts about a man named Fergus, but whatever. I have a doctor's appointment in like 2 hours technically, but I have to leave in about an hour, so I think that while I am waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and plan out my schedule for the book club that I run. Our first month is in May, and I want to plan out the weekly reads like by chapter. I'm going to make the channels in the Discord for the chapters and see if I can figure out what romance book we want to have, because I do one normal book and then one like not safe for work book a month, or that's my plan. That way everybody can be included if you don't like the main book. And May's book is Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I saw Katie is read this and enjoyed it. So, and I didn't know that Brandon Sanderson had any standalones. I thought he just had big old series that take forever to read. But apparently Warbreaker is currently, as of today, a standalone. So I have been interested to read it for the last month or so and decided that that was going to be our first book. So that is the plan. After my doctor's appointment, I literally keep saying that I want to cross-stitch more of my, I want to crochet more of my granny squares for my books, and then I don't do it. So hopefully, because I finished the book today and I don't feel like rushed to have to read anymore, since I decided that I'm just gonna go with the flow, read what I do during my reading vlogs, and then that's it, I may come home and crochet. I am home alone for the evening because my husband's at work, so I will have to find something to do to entertain myself, and I think that is the plan. So I'm gonna go edit last week's reading vlog, work on my book club stuff, and then I'll talk to y'all after my doctor's appointment, which hopefully goes well. I did testing for ADHD, and I'm paying $700 today for the testing, and I'm going to get my feedback, so we'll see what happens with that. But anyways, I will see y'all in a little bit. Excuse my saran wrap, my arm is so itchy and dry, but I'm back from my doctor's appointment. I apparently do not have ADHD. I just have some other problems that have such control over my brain that I cannot focus on anything that I'm doing, so that's super great. I'm gonna have to return to therapy soon. Anyways, I came home and cleaned my kitchen, made some stroganoff for dinner. Now I'm gonna finish editing last week's reading vlog and then do absolutely nothing the rest of the night. Maybe take a little late nap, wake up, do some crochet or something, cross stitch, I don't know, but I want to do something. While I cleaned and made supper, I started the audiobook for My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing and made it 8% through. I knew it sounded slow for some reason. Oh, it's because I changed my app. Anywho, so I'm 8% through that. May or may not listen to that tonight while I am crocheting, but probably gonna watch true crime, because that's all I want to do is sit in my bed and watch true crime and do my crafts alone. And that is it. So I'm going to finish editing this video and I'll See y'all when I see y'all. How do you like this? Good morning, guys. So it is Wednesday morning, and I just wanted to give you all a little update before I start getting ready for work. I was originally supposed to work tonight, but I just like mornings better. Shift is shorter, and I don't have to stay up super late. So, not that that's relevant to any of this, but update for y'all. I have gotten further into Red Rising. Let's just put this out backwards. So I am about 21% through. I'm on page 88. I have been tabbing. I actually got some book mail yesterday where I got new tabs that I absolutely love. They're so cute. So like these. This is what I'm using for Red Rising. And we have basically all these other cute colors. So I love those. I have my little key in here because I tried to write on the tab itself and put them in the book, and that didn't work, and I cannot write in my books. My husband will kill me, and I'm too much of a perfectionist to actually like permanently mark in my books. Also, really sorry about the angle. My ring light and tripod is like broken beyond repair, and it's finally done for. I think it will not even stand, like the ring light part broke and it won't even stand up to hold my camera anymore. So anyways, I am really enjoying Red Rising. It's kind of thought-provoking, I guess, about our own society, and like, I don't want to get too controversial here, but if you've read Red Rising, you know what I mean. But like basically, if you haven't read Red Rising, the world is like split into a caste system almost of colors, and these reds live on Mars. They live under the surface basically, and they mine helium or H3 to basically be able to make the surface a livable space, and they're basically being lied to, and they're forced to be slaves, and they don't even know. So that's like the gist of it. But there was one specific quote, so I don't know if this will probably be a spoiler if you've not read this book yet, but just a heads up. It says, gold structure everything to make their own lives easier. They have shows produced to entertain and placate the masses. They give monies and handouts to make generations dependent on the seventh day of each new Earth month. They create goods to grant us a semblance of liberty. If violence is the gold sport, manipulation is their art form. So it gets you thinking, you know? My first opinion of this book so far is no one told me how sad the first few chapters were. That is not very nice. Like, these dark tabs are blue, and that means I was sad. I literally cried. My husband came out of the bedroom yesterday, and I was at the table, and here's another spoiler, so just heads up. I was like, I knew that EO died, but I thought like she just died of starvation. I didn't know much about the book, and so I looked at him and I was like, I thought she died of starvation. And he was like, are you really crying? And I was like, yes. It was depressing, but I feel like is probably, in my opinion, is a good representation of grief, because he makes a comment about being a shell, like being lost and not knowing how to go on without her. And then you can tell, like you can see his anger after he ends up where he ends up. And I just feel like that's probably an accurate representation of that type of grief. I don't know, but I could only assume. And really the rest that I have to say is a spoiler, so go ahead and skip forward if you don't want to know. Basically, in like the first few chapters, or I think it was the third chapter, Darrow makes a comment about the sons of Ares being like a menace to society, and even before I saw it or read any further, I just felt like he was kind of, you know, like drinking the Kool-Aid and giving in to exactly what the Golds want them to think, you know? Like, from the outside looking in, we can see, as the reader, that it's wrong, the position they're being put in, but they don't know, you know? So I made a point to think about that, and then he does end up with the Sons of Ares, like almost against his will technically, but he does, and so that makes me really excited because that's what Io would have wanted, first of all. And second, it was super smart for his uncle to do what he did. And I know I read a little bit later in the chapter that like he did die twice or something, but I was under the impression that his uncle like drugged him to make it look like he was dead, and then he wasn't. So that was still pretty smart, whatever they did. But it makes me sad because all Darrow can think is why they couldn't have saved his wife, and that's very depressing. So I did not know this book was supposed to be this way, but it is what it is. And then my other book mail is our romance book club pick for my book club that I'm doing, and that is Throttled by Lauren Asher. I literally looked up sports romances on TikTok, or sports romance recommendations, and this was in like one of the first videos. And I know it's Formula One racing, but I don't know. I've heard good things, I think. And so we'll just have to see, I guess. But I got that. Ooh, I like these white pages. I got this off of Amazon. So I'm going to start this and Warbreaker on Sunday, unless I finish Red Rising and my audiobook first. Well, my audiobook I can listen to whenever, but my plan is to finish Red Rising by Saturday, and I should be able to do that because I get off this afternoon. I have all this evening. I have tomorrow during the day because I work tomorrow night, and then I'm off all of Friday. I'm off Saturday morning, and then I work Saturday night, so that's plenty of time. I got this, it's whatever. The only reason I didn't read more yesterday was because I was primarily reading at work, so I had to obviously be attentive to my tables. So, anywho, I think that is pretty much the update for now. I am 32 to 34% through with My Lovely Wife. I'm enjoying it. It's interesting how, like, I've always wondered watching true crime and stuff, how couples like meet each other. Like, how do you just meet someone else that wants to murder somebody? But I feel like the circumstances in My Lovely Wife kind of like brought them together. I don't know how to explain that. Like, the first person they killed, it wasn't on purpose, and so then after that I feel like they just got like, they realized that they liked it, so they didn't know ahead of time that they planned to murder people together. But I was gonna say it just works out that way sometimes, but it doesn't. So anyways, that is that. I'm going to probably finish reading the pages that I had set out to read yesterday. I only have like 10 left, and then I'm gonna start getting ready for work, listen to my audiobook a little bit more, and then I'll probably check in with you maybe this evening, depending on how much more I get read today. Good morning. It is Friday morning, the 28th. I worked super late last night, slept in late-ish this morning. I didn't get a whole lot of reading done yesterday because it was busy at work, but not Like, I just never had enough time to sit down and actually start reading it, or else I would be up and down, up and down, up and down. So I didn't do much reading yesterday, but I have pretty much all day today to read. And this evening I'm going to see Evil Dead Rise with my sister-in-law. It'll be like the first time we ever have been able to watch a scary movie at the movies together, because we planned to like 4 years ago, and then it didn't work out, and then COVID hit. So I love scary movies. I love going to see them at the theater. I just haven't in so long because my husband doesn't really like them. So I'm excited for that. But this morning I have to write up an annotated bibliography for my English class real quick, turn that in, and then I am going to go to a little kind of patio restaurant by my house that's on the water, and get a mimosa and read my book. Oh my gosh, my necklaces are all tangled up. They have like these frozen mimosas that are so good, and I really want one of those and some cheese sticks, so that is what I'm gonna do. My husband's out of town today, so I don't want to be sitting at home by myself all day long, or else I will get sad. So I'm gonna do my homework and then go read. I'll try to get some footage while I'm there, but I just have to see. It'll probably be on my phone if I do, because I'm still not comfortable bringing my camera in public yet, but it's alright. So I'm going to get this done, and I'll see y'all later. Good afternoon. It is 1:20 p.m. on Saturday, April 29th. I got a little bit of reading done yesterday when I went to the little restaurant by the water. I had told myself I was going to read a certain amount of pages per day until Sunday, so that way I could start my book club books and not have to worry about anything rolling over. So yesterday I finished the day before's reading. So I am definitely behind, but it's okay. I thought I was going to have time to read this morning before I went to work, but I've kind of just been dilly-dallying and laying in bed. And I did read 2 chapters, but that's not getting me to where I need to be, because I need to read 110 pages today and 110 pages tomorrow, and then start both my books tomorrow. So we're going to try our best. It depends on how busy tonight is. NFL drafts have been going on, and that's made it pretty busy, but we'll just have to see. But let's see. I went and saw Evil Dead Rise yesterday. It was really good. I liked it. I have always liked horror movies, and I'm not super picky generally. It didn't feel like a B-rated movie. Like, the acting was good. I enjoyed it. It is very gory, so if that's something that bothers you, just keep that in mind ahead of time. It starts literally right off the bat. But otherwise, like, it was creepy to me. So in scary movies, when they use the weird colored contacts, like yellow contacts, or like the eyes are always what gets me. That is the creepiest part to me, along with like the voice changes and stuff. So on that aspect, I think it was really creepy. I like all the Evil Dead movies, the classics and the remake, so I also enjoyed this one. I don't know, I feel like I live under this expectation that if I'm paying to go see a movie, it has to be good, so I have rarely left the movie theater and thought that I went and saw a bad movie, so maybe that's just me. I liked it. I thought it was scary. Obviously, like, I didn't have nightmares or anything from it, but it gave me a little spooky spook. So, and it was just very suspenseful, because in scary movies where like they're running away and trying their best to get away and things keep stopping them, and that is like a big part of it, and it just made my heart race. So I really enjoyed that. I finished My Lovely Wife this morning, and I do have some thoughts on it. I liked it for the most part. I gave it a 4-star. It wasn't super climactic, and the plot twists, I guess, were not surprising to me, really. So it wasn't like one of the best thrillers I've ever read, but I did enjoy listening to it. So I took some notes on it, and these are probably going to be spoilery, so if you want to skip past this, then jump to whatever little number I put here. So at the beginning of My Lovely Wife, I got like You vibes, like the TV show, or I mean it's also a book, but those are the vibes that I got, because he was like stalking these girls, like knows their schedules, was always outside, and it came from like a first person perspective, so it's like you're listening to his thoughts, So that was the original vibe that I got from the book.
And then, this is funny, I put a note in that at the beginning of the book, he's talking about him and his wife's relationship and how they met on a plane, and they have this, he said he was going to protect her with the, like, instruction card on the plane. Like, he would paper cut people with it for being creepy to her, so it became like an inside joke. And I thought that was adorable, and like the way that they did their little like Christmas stuff and everything. And then you start to see like the cracks in their relationship go on. I don't even remember writing that really, but I just think it's funny. There was a part where they were trying to decide what girl to murder, and they literally described a girl and said that she would look good on TV, like her missing persons photo, or like the picture that they put up after she's murdered. They said she would look good on TV. And to me, the creepy part about that is that there's truly people out there that believe stuff like that, I'm sure. Like, real life serial killers probably think things like that, and that is terrifying to me. And then I didn't take notes for a while because I was just listening to it, and I think I forgot, but there really wasn't a whole lot of like noteworthy things because they were going back and forth between if they wanted to kill her, if they didn't, who they wanted to kill, yada yada, whatever. So then at the end, the wife framing him, I'm not surprised about, because like she wasn't giving him any information about what was going on, and she was the one murdering them, so I just kind of expected that because she was holding a lot back from him, and then all of a sudden, well, I really suspected it whenever he caught her going to the diner all the time, when he put the GPS tracking on her, and then the lady from the diner is the one that called the sister of the original serial killer, and so I was like, that makes sense. So I wasn't really super surprised about that. But I was surprised about the fact that she was poisoning her own daughter. Like, at first I thought she was like testing it out, like, okay, I'm gonna try it and see how sick it makes my daughter, and then I'll give it to the girls that I'm torturing. But to my knowledge, I don't remember that ever being a thing. So like, why would you just poison your own daughter? Like, I guess to me that I thought the daughter was pregnant the whole time because she kept throwing up, but it was the eye drops. I just don't see like the relevance in that, besides at the end where he calls her out on it, and then the daughter like stabs the mom for poisoning her, type of thing. So that was in my mind a little bit irrelevant, but it did shock me that the mom was poisoning the kid. That's crazy. And then of course the book ends, he kills her, and then he gets away with doing nothing. So there ain't no telling what that man's would be out doing, since he literally did want to kill people, he just never did. So I don't know, but 4 stars. Didn't hate it. Would recommend. It's a good thriller. I'm so bad at reviewing books. I really need to work on like how to properly review books, but I'm figuring it out, okay? I'm figuring it out. Then, when it comes to Red Rising, I am 45% of the way through, and I'm enjoying it. I do want to finish it, obviously. I've just not really been in a reading slump, but I'm so tired today for some reason. And I did read yesterday, but I also had like a frozen mimosa and then a regular mimosa, and that made me tired. So after I finished my reading at the restaurant, I came home and went to sleep. And then we went and saw the movie, yada yada, whatever. So I am enjoying it. I am doing my little tabbing again. I finally, well, I think I already showed you all these cute little tabs I got. I did run out of one color, this pink color right here. And so I had ordered a second set so that way I could hopefully finish the book and still have tabs left. I'm not tabbing as much as I was in the beginning anymore because like things are kind of spread out instead of a whole bunch of stuff happening back to back to get the story started. But I like it. I think I'm going to wait till the end to really talk in depth about it, so hopefully that'll be tomorrow, fingers crossed. But yeah, so that is today's update. It is 1:30 now. I am going to read until about 2:45, get ready for work, go to work, hopefully read a little bit at work, and then I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, so I am ready for work. I didn't end up reading as much as I wanted because I ended up making spaghetti for lunch, but I read 44 pages before I had to get ready, and I only have 56 left to read today to stay on track for tomorrow. So hopefully, not that I want a slow night, but hopefully I get the chance to read some while I'm at work. That way I won't have to catch up too much tomorrow. But my coffee's made, all my stuff is packed, and I'm ready to go. Fingers crossed for a good night. All right, real quick before my battery dies, I just wanted to give y'all a little update. It is Sunday morning. I got up this morning, started reading because I did not get very much done last night. I finally caught up to where I needed to be yesterday, so I am 65% of the way through. I have 120 pages left. I have an eyelash appointment at 4. It is currently 1 o'clock, so I think I'm gonna read till 3 and then see how much is left. I shouldn't have much left after that, so if I have like 20 pages left, I'll just keep reading and finish it up. But if not, then I will finish it this evening. I have an essay to write tonight, so I'm gonna do that. And then after that, I'm going to start Warbreaker and Throttled. All right, so I have just about 50 pages left. I've been kind of stopping and doing chores in between chapters because my husband's coming home today. I didn't want the house to be a complete disaster. So like I said, about 50 pages left. And I'm currently going to take a shower and getting ready for my lash appointment, and then after that I plan to finish my book. I'm going to do that tonight, read the first 2 chapters of both my other books, and then hopefully be able to watch Game of Thrones while I cross stitch, because now that I'm not in school anymore, I really need to finish the show. So that's the plan. We'll see if that even works out, but that is the goal. Alright, so it is Monday morning and I finished Red Rising last night. I was going to update y'all last night, but I finished it right before I went to bed. And I gave it 5 stars. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I love me a good competition in a book, like Hunger Games, Divergent, stuff like that. And I think someone told me once that this was like a mix between the Hunger Games and like Game of Thrones, kind of. And I see what they mean. Even though it's considered like sci-fi, I guess, it wasn't super hard to read. And honestly, once the competition starts, you kind of like forget about the rest of the world, I guess. Like, or I did, at least. Pierce Brown did a really good job of like getting you attached to characters and then killing them off. But so that's likely a Game of Thrones aspect to it, but I, without spoiling it, enjoyed it, had a great time, and now I'm gonna go into the spoilers because I have more to say if I can spoil stuff. Whenever they first like pass their test or whatever and they go to the institute, the governor or whatever is talking about how all the lower colors have scars and calluses and all of this stuff, and like are talking down about it, but then if you become a peerless scarred, you get a scar to like show that you've worked hard. It don't make no sense to me, but that's the golds for you. And then something that really stood out to me throughout the rest of the story was that how much Darrow had to sacrifice to win, I guess. Like, several people died because his goal is to live out Eo's dream, and if he doesn't win, he doesn't feel like he achieved that. So, I mean, there was that whole scene with Leah, or Lee, or whatever her name was, where they said they were going to slit her throat if he didn't come out, and he didn't come out, and they slit her throat. And like, obviously he's going to carry the guilt of that, but his driving, like his motivator, is more important than other people's lives, which justified. But I was really surprised at the end when they said that Mustang was the Jackal's twin sister, and I should have guessed it. Like, I put a lot of my foreshadowing tabs on things that they were saying about her because it seemed kind of sketchy. I was not convinced that she betrayed him. I thought that they were just throwing that in and it was irrelevant information and that she wasn't gonna like her brother anyways, and that's what ended up happening, so I'm not mad about it. But that is all I really have for this video and for this book. Thank you so much for watching. I'm planning on making my reading vlogs from here on out kind of like a reading and weekly vlog, so you're seeing some of the other stuff that I'm doing besides just reading. It'll add more substance to the video. And also I'm trying, well, I mean, this one and my last one are probably going to be pretty long, but I enjoy watching like longer reading vlogs instead of like 10 to 20 minute or 10 to 15 minute vlogs, so I'm trying to make them a little longer with a little bit more exciting content in them. So if you have any recommendations on books to read or videos to make, please let me know, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys.